Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America, and hello to anyone watching on replay. My name is Nancy Hetker, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Australia. And today I am going to be playing with a new stamp set out of the annual catalog. But first, I wanted to remind you that it is almost time for our new mini catalog, the July to December mini catalog. It's got all of the Christmas products in it. Plus, in July and August, we have our second celebration of the year. Good morning, Gladys. How are you? Or good evening to you. I cannot show you the insides of these yet, but they are very fun, very pretty stuff. That's a neat, sweet, that's got lots of dies that pierce and make it look like there's all kinds of sparkly lights, and it's very fun. And then on the celebration one, let me see if I can show you this. I can't show you inside, but there's a set, Hippest Hippos, and it's got absolutely adorable hippos. So if you like our really cute animal sets, you'll like that one. And it has dies that match. There's a little die there. And these are available free with minimum purchases. So that's a fun thing to look forward to. I have a little pre-order on its way to me soon, I hope. So I'll set that aside, just let you know that those are coming. And if you're in Australia and you would like for me to be your demonstrator, drop me a line. I will be happy to send those out to you as soon as I receive them. So the set that I am going to be playing with today is True Beauty. It is part of the Awash in Beauty suite out of the annual catalog, which still feels brand new because it's only been live for about 5 weeks now, and this is my first time playing with this set. I'm not going to be using the designer series paper out of the set. I'm just using the stamps, and so I'm not going with the color scheme that's in the designer series paper in the suite. It's very pastel with some brights in it, but I've chosen a few different colors, and I wanted to show you, I like this to be value added, not just me making a card, but when I was playing with what colors I wanted to use, I just pulled out a piece of scrap and started playing. And I wanted to show you another thing on here too. This stamp set, I'll show you on here, is one of the distinctive stamp sets, which means that it's got the etching with the variation in ink coverage and the way it works. And so you need to be sure that your ink pads aren't too inky. And again, I'll pull this out and try to show you what I'm talking about. So this is the first one that I stamped, and then also this Parakeet Party one. This is Tahitian Tide and Parakeet Party. And they're brand new stamps pads, and I inked up and I stamped, and it's a perfectly nice stamping, but it's got too much ink on it. There's none of the etching showing. So what I do, I'll just pull in a stamp pad and show you. I know I've shown people this before, but perhaps I got some newbies on here. I take a spoon. You could take a knife. You could take your a palette knife. You could take your bone folder if you wanted, but I find it tends to absorb ink and get stained. This is a plastic spoon I had from when we first moved here, and I didn't have just random extra spoons. I still don't really. Anyway, you can use whatever you want. And I just push the ink. You can see there's a lighter portion in the middle where I have pushed the ink and down to the edge. If I ever needed to get more ink, I could push it back, although it does tend to, liquids even themselves out, so it will flow back on its own. And then I just take my chamois and I just wipe off the spoon, and I put it with my tools for the next time. So that just helped me get the right amount of ink if the ink pad is too juicy. You can blot off, but that quote unquote wastes ink. So I just found that that's a really effective way to get a good amount of ink for this. So let me set that aside and open up my stamp pads here. I know I don't usually work with a lot of open stamp pads, but this one I kind of need to. Hello, Paula and Renata. Thanks for joining me this morning. You guys are well into summer weather, I bet, up there. We are definitely experiencing winter again this week, which isn't nearly as cold as when I had true winter in the U.S., but it just, I don't know, it just feels chilly. Okay, so I have a piece of cardstock here. It is cut down to my second down layer size. So in metric, that's 9.5 by 13.9. In letter size, that would be, I have to work hard to dredge these numbers up. What, 3 3¾ by 5, I guess. And then Stampin' Up! Now carries masking paper. It comes in a pack like that. And you can see I've used some bits and pieces, and I've cut a scrap the size that I want. And it's just very, very thin, like copy paper, but it's self-adhesive with a removable adhesive. So they're like very, very thin Post-it notes. And if I can get the backing off. Come here. There we go. Really. Okay. And I am going to line up here. And I use my grid paper so I get it pretty darn straight, I hope. Oh my goodness. Oh, really? Don't do that. Well, maybe like press and seal, we're gonna de-sticky it a little bit. Okay, let's try this again. I want you to be straight. Says, well, if you wanted it to be straight, you should have cut it straight. Okay, let's try again here. Okay, let's see how we go. So, I'm also bringing in, this is just a piece of this grid paper because some of the stamps are kind of big. So from time to time I may decide I need that. So I'm going to start with a couple of the big images. Let's see what I've got here. This is Flirty Flamingo. And Daffodil Delight. And now with this one, bring this in because I just want to make sure. See, if I just did that, it would be trailing off the bottom there, and I'm not sure I really want that. I think we're going to do that. This is Sweet Sorbet. This one I think I do want to try to get it on both sides. Oh, and now I rocked it and got the halo there. Well, we're just going to keep going. Let me pull in another piece of paper and try this again. Let's see how we do. Still thinking here. This is the difference from when I actually plot the whole thing out versus make it up as I go along. I'm going to stop there and let's pick this up and see how we're doing. We may decide to start over. There we go. I'm going to keep going. We'll see how we're doing here. So I'm going to bring in my sentiment, and this one actually comes from Artistically Inked. At the moment, I wish I had a slightly bigger birthday sentiment, but I don't, so that's okay. I do that in black. Right there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my ruler. And a black marker. I want to get this in just the right spot. And I'm just going to come across here like so. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I love to have this T ruler because it gets it right up square on the edge of my cardstock. until I go moving it. And that gives me my border. What do you think? Well, I will say I like how it looks. Oh, that really bugs me, that halo there. I like everything else about it. Shall we try it again? Let's try it again, since I have paper already cut. Okay, trying it again. So it doesn't have to be exactly the same. I like how it turned out, except for that halo effect. This in again. I'm going to do one down here. Now that I know what I'm doing, one up here. This one's going to be a little bit different. And what am I leaving out? Trying to figure out exactly where and if I want another. Did I get everything on there? I think so. I am going to go right there. Okay. Come in with my adhesive eraser. See? That's adhesive. It's a little. Okay. Bring in my sentiment again. So I find when you're keeping it really simple, like just stamps, paper, and ink, everything really has to be pretty darn perfect. There's not so much space for hiding things. That's why that halo on the first one, I couldn't live with it. And this time I'm going to try putting my is it a T-square? T-ruler on this side, so I can actually hold it in place better. Oh, really? Come on. Yeah, now I've got the dot in the middle. Okay. Anyhow, I like the lines. They finish it off nicely, I think. And, oh, good morning, Annette. Nice to see you. And now I'm gonna add a layer there, and I cut this very thinly to mimic that line. And then onto there. Just keep it really simple so that the colors pop. What do you think? The good and the bad of the sliding, right? And I'm going to keep it flat or pop it up. I'm going to keep it flat. Okay, now I'm just going to take one moment, because you know me, open ink pads and dirty stamps make me really nervous. So I'm thinking, while I'm putting my ink pads to rights, I am thinking about what I might want to do for some bling. And I had pulled out, these are from the upcoming, that new mini that I talked about. They are Fine Sparkle adhesive back dots. And I had thought about those, but I think, actually, I think just clear rhinestones would be a better choice, because that already has so much active color on it. I wanted to show these to you because these are very fun and more glittery than you would think they would be. Yes, I just stuck my thumb in the sweet sorbet pad. This is why I don't tend to just leave things open. Okay, now I got all the stamps clean. Let's get the pads closed. Okay. Let's get those out of here. bring in these clear rhinestones. And I'm laying them on there, but I'm not pressing them down right away. So I can move them if I decide I don't have them quite right for. Corner, you said. I'm sorry, I'm just catching up on the on the comments here. In the corner, you said. Which corner? And that, did I fix it? It's gone very quiet. Yeah, I gotta stop this in a second here. No, that's not the right place at all. Right bottom corner down here. See, and I stop and I look at, sometimes seeing on the camera is helpful. Oh, see, that's too much lined up. Which one's the run that's the problem? Ah! Yeah, now I've done it. Take out pink. This one. Okay, I'm just sitting here waiting to hear what you all think. Okay then. I will stop there and yeah. You know, I can see the flaws. I don't see them as much on the camera, so that's good. But I do like the masking paper. You do have to be careful about it sticking a little too much. So you might want to do like I did. Where's my strip? Now that I pulled it off, I can't find it. And I just, oh, it's right here. I batted it up against, you know, can't see, my shirt or my jeans, just to get a little fuzz on it. Can you see any of that? So that it didn't stick quite so badly. You could also very, very lightly hit it with the embossing buddy, which, hey, that's news. In the new mini catalog, they're bringing back a whole suite of embossing tools, including the embossing buddy. But you could lightly de-stick it like that. But you have to make sure it's really light or it'll really not stick. So, yeah. I hope you give masking a try. That's just one way of doing masking. Let me pull in a card. Let me find it here from sorry, I had the idea and I didn't pull it in advance, and now I have to locate it in my craft room. Really? I'm sure I put it someplace very safe. Okay, never mind. I will show you another day. But I do want to remind you, this Saturday at 10 a.m., so same time as this morning, I'll be doing mystery stamping. You can go to my website, nancysniftynotes.com, and under classes and events, you'll find a link to be able to find the mystery stamping supply list that you can prep, and then join us on the Zoom link that's also on there. And we will give you assembly instructions, one clue at a time, and we'll see what everyone makes. And then coming up in mid-July is my first ever stamp camp, which is going to be 2 days of crafting fun. I've been having a great deal of fun making prototype projects and planning things out. And again, all the details are pinned at the top of my blog at nancysniftynotes.com. I hope if you're anywhere in Australia, you feel free to sign up and come. Obviously, if you're overseas and you want to come too, that's just fine. I can help people out with accommodation for a night or two if you need it. So yeah, just let me know if you'd like to come. I would love to have you. And otherwise, I will be back same time, same place next week with another live crafting project. Thanks for joining me. Bye.